Now we've learned how to make a simple platformer, we're going to start thinking about the actual game you make for this term. So it's the same context that all the other technologies use like Technology Fabric and DVC and so on, which is going to be cultural, your culture. So the idea is that you will make a game that celebrates or educates about some aspect of your own culture. So everyone has a culture. I have culture. I'm an immigrant. I'm from the UK originally, and there are different aspects that I can talk about with that. So the first thing you've got to do is think a little bit about your culture, and if you're a Kiwi, if you're a Māori, if you're from South Africa, if you're from Europe, first generation, second generation, whether you've got you're pretty Kiwi but your roots coming from a different island or something. There's something you can identify with, say that's your culture, and you can talk about. And these are some starter questions to get you thinking a little bit. And what's going to be in your mind all times is, what can I make? How can I make a game out of this? What's the point of this game? There are examples. This is one example. You can't look at it in school. You'll have to go home and look at it. Never Alone, and it's a game. Alaska Native Storytellers create a game which delves deeply into the traditional lore of the Inuit people to present an experience like no other. There's something you can read about, watch some YouTube videos perhaps. Another one that is kind of interesting is if we look up Oregon Trail. So this is an American game from way back in the 80s. And it's just like one small part of American culture. There's obviously huge different things going on in American culture. Whatever. And this is just one thing they chose to make, which is about the pioneers heading out west and starting a new life out west. And, you got on the Oregon Trail and you had to hunt and manage resources and so on. And most people died as they went along. It's kind of a bit of a meme, really, now. But that's just one aspect. So you think about things like that you might want to include. I have found that quite often students can pick up stories from their culture. So my example is that I grew up in very near a place called Uffington, where they've got the White Horse. And famously there's a hill there where apparently St. George slayed the dragon. So, it'd be pretty easy to put a game together around that. And there's so much other mythology and other stories. And stories are great for a platformer because they give you that progression. They give you a world. They give you characters. That make it easy to make a game about your culture that educates and informs and entertains and tells them a little bit about yourself. So fill in this document to get yourself started. You won't be able to do this here. Do it at home before next week. And then there's some initial ideas and how it could relate to the game. It's not just significant events, it could be a significant story. We really don't mind. Whatever works, something that is about your culture, put it into this table and you can start thinking about what you're going to do, and then start thinking about the storyline of your game. So you've got the couple of lessons this week to think about that, and then next week we'll start building up and thinking what's going to make your game good. And pretty soon after that we'll be actually starting to make it.